All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I begin, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rechak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And I just want to do a lesson, because this post right here, this is on Reddit. One of the brothers in my camp, he had shared this in our chat, and this is dealing with the top U.S. industries and how a lot of these industries, they rely heavily on these immigrants, for the workforce, the labor force. And if you want to make a profit and you want to get a lot of produce done, you're going to need cheap labor. That's how you benefit. That's how you capitalize. So if a lot of the tribes, dealing with the Northern Kingdom in particular, for let's say Trump finally, when he gets in, he's going to try to get a lot of them, millions of them up out of the country. Sure, some of the crime rate might go down, but so will the labor force will slow down. It won't be as much being produced on a fast pace. And this is why they're trying to go the AI route. Using AI to replace a lot of the labor force, because you get rid of a lot of the northern tribes that are here that are working all these different industries, a lot of the economy would collapse like quickly. It will put a huge dent in the economy, due to the lack of labor. Not to say that it won't, you won't have workers, but they've been very vital to the labor force. And that lets you know right there that the Latin tribes, over here, they're under the curse. All right. So this statistical data that I found this, and this is dealing with the relying on illegal immigration in the workforce. And this is dealing with the top U.S. industries, and you see at the very top, construction is at the top of that list. They said according to this, 1.5 million illegal immigrant workers are in that field of construction. All right, 13.7%. Then it gives you the numbers on agriculture, and we know that a lot of them are, they were known to be a part of the agricultural aspect, growing a lot of the produce, growing the vegetation and the fruits. If a lot of them were to leave, who was going to grow your tomatoes? Who's going to grow your oranges? Your cilantro, all those different things that we get in the markets today. There's mainly the northern tribes that's growing it and bringing it into the country. All right, then you have hospitality, 1 million of them in that field. General services, 500,000, that's 6.5%. Wholesale trade, 193,000, 5.5%. Transportation and warehousing, 460,000. All right. Manufacturing, 870,000. So they're very vital to the workforce. They keep the economy flourishing with their labor. See? So without Jake, how would all this be contained? How will this continue to flourish without that work, without the labor? So, I thought this was an interesting post, and also thinking back to this film that I saw back in the day. It was a film called A Day Without a Mexican. Let me go here real quick. In which I didn't know they had the whole film on YouTube, but it was a pretty good movie. All right, and it goes into how if they were to basically deport all the so-called Mexicans, out of LA, out of California in particular, the economy of California, it would fall overnight. It would all just fall apart. The commerce, all right, the retail, the agriculture, everything will fall apart. The construction. So I'm gonna play a little snippet, of the film, and I assume that the content is safe to play, because they have to, this channel, which is not too big of a channel, actually has the whole film on it, and it's not taken down. So I'm gonna assume that it's safe to play, parts of this movie. So fair use, and I'm gonna play a scene from this film. All right. So let's play real quick.
www.whereareyou.org is open to receive updated information on this emergency situation.
The Golden State is not shining. California feels like a ghost town. But who are these people we've taken for granted? Are they Hispanic? Latinos? Mexicans? Chicanos? Central Americans? Cubans? Colombians? Puerto Ricans? Americans. Whatever their nationality, they are first and foremost people. These are people who make up 1/3 of the population of the state of California. People we've come to love and respect. Award-winning scientists, decorated heroes, admired celebrities, revered athletes, and world-renowned talents. These are the people who have helped make our state the 5th largest economy in the world.
Excuse me, are you Mexican?
Do I look like Mexican? Every day they ask me the same thing. Ani lo mexicani.
Where are you from?
I'm Israeli, I'm not Mexican. I wear little head, not big one.
And that's interesting in itself. You confuse a small hat for a Mexican, right? The northern tribes are clearly, all right, the Hispanics, the indigenous tribes, they're clearly Israelites, all right? And of course you have the archaeology and the history to prove it. But this movie right here this is an underrated gem, It wasn't a huge movie, but for the time that it came out, and the overall theme of the movie, it was pretty good. All right, but this puts everything in perspective. That the tribes, despite being looked down upon and considered minorities like the rest of us, they look down on Judah, as the minorities of society, and like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, they made no account of our labors. So even though we're very hands-on and we're the main central reason why Babylon reached its height, economically, is because of the slave labor, the exploitation, of what Jake produces. All right, and Esau capitalized and benefited, and that's why he'll never consider giving you tribes or any of you reparations. Okay, he used you and he moved on. He give you little jobs so you can get pacified, but he'll never give you that position, because Jake, they rise up pretty quickly. So going back to let's deal with the curse. You go to Deuteronomy 28, and I'm gonna read verses 29, and I'm going to jump down to 33, and I want to read it in the Amplified Bible. So this is Deuteronomy 28 and 29. It says, "And you will be groping at noon in broad daylight, just as the blind grope in the darkness, and nothing you do will prosper, but you will only be oppressed and exploited and robbed continually with no one to save you." And that's why, Jake tried to come with all these different solutions and, try to look for ways and ideas to get ahead financially, economically, to try to prosper in this world. But it only goes so far, Esau allow a few tokens, through the door, but they have to sell their soul, but they'll initially, climb up that ladder, so to speak. But if anything goes wrong, they fall right back down, So it's not meant for us to really prosper on this side, especially being up under the curse. You literally have to sell your soul, and pretty much that's a consolation prize. Woe unto you that are rich now, for you have received your consolation. That's the loser's prize. Because all this is going to fall apart either way. The Lord's getting ready to break us from this captivity. He's getting ready to break that yoke. And all these nations that benefited from us being in this position, they're going to lose. And this is why, ultimately, they don't want to cast us all away. Trump talking about coming to, he wants to use the military to get all the illegal immigrants out of the country. But we know that it's really primarily towards the tribes. So it's going to be a time of trouble for Jacob, starting with the northern kingdom, when he gets in there and does that. But he's doing this because they're confident that AI is going to basically become that new burden bearer for them. It's going to lift up that what's the word I'm trying to use? But basically, they're going to rely upon AI to replace a good number of the workforce, so they ain't got to really, pay actual people for the labor. So all these extra people in the country, they're not going to just sit there and be able to eat off the taxpaying money. And we see an AI getting a leg up in the workforce, and it doesn't even cost us as much if we're just using robots instead of actual, blood, sweat, and tears. So they want to dismiss them, but you can see, according to the statistical data, that they play a vital role in the workforce. All right, and all these different industries that keep Babylon going. All right. So it's let me jump down, because you see it in the curse that you're not going to prosper. They're just going to use you for your labor. They're going to exploit you, and they're going to capitalize. All right, they're literally serving themselves of you. Jumping down to 33 says, "A people whom you do not know will eat, benefit from the produce of your land and all the products of your labors, and you will never be anything but oppressed and exploited and crushed continually." Okay. And that's all you are to them. You have a lot of the northern tribes that might be able to get by and do well for themselves and their families because they're more family oriented, so they stick together and they put their resources and money together or whatever. And they would start to look down on Judah, not simply realizing that Esau, he uses you. He looks down on you like he looks down on Judah. All right. You're nothing but another human resource and slave labor to them. And they pay you cheap. They realize that you don't complain as much as Judah do when it comes to their wages. And especially the illegals that's coming from third world impoverished environments, they'll come over here and work for a crumb. They see that as winning, especially if they're allowed to be here and stay here in Babylon. Instead of living in them little villas and you look at the landscape of Central South America, Brazil, and you look at them homes that they living in. This shit is trash, man. So it's actually a luxury to come to Babylon, even if they're to scrub some floors and mop some bathrooms and clean toilets, just so that they can live in a regular apartment building. That's luxurious compared to where they live down south of the border, man. So they come here and they work literally for damn near nothing, just a little something. And Esau, he benefits, he capitalizes, man. These key industries making billions of dollars, man. Billions and trillions. But what would it be without this, the labor from our people? All right. So let's go from there to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 50 and 33. Jeremiah 50 verse 33, it says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah will oppress together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." Of course, you're not going to let them go, because you're serving yourselves of them. Wall Street got its build from these people. Okay, Esau was able to, run a head start off of what they did during the inception of this country. Okay, and we're just here to be exploited. That's all we were, since we were brought over here. Okay, you look up that word oppressed, and the word is Ishak. And it says to press upon, oppress, violate, defraud, do violence, get deceitfully, wrong, extort. And it says down here to be exploited, be crushed. And you look at that word exploit. And it says in the definition, to make full use of and derive benefit from a resource. And that's all Judah and Israel has been this entire time over here. America became the richest country in the world because of Israel. And don't this story sound familiar? What happened in Egypt? Egypt became great because of Israel. Starting with Joseph, by the way, which was the father of Manasseh in Ephraim. That would be your modern day Puerto Ricans and Cubans. Okay. So that's literally what this is, oppression. And Jake, the scriptures say that they trust in oppression. Like it was that Isaiah 30. Our people, they trust and rely upon, serving this damn devil and his system, only just so that they can satisfy their bellies. Working for a little hefty penny, a crumb. And they're complacent with that. They're not looking for a kingdom where they will be actually ruling, having control over these industries. Being an actual ruler and really owning, land and property and slaves. Because that's what we're gonna have. Our workforce is gonna literally be the heathen. That's because the heathen, pursuing the law, they're supposed to be our possession. They're supposed to be our bond maids and bond servants. But right now, being under the curse, we're bond servants and bond maids to the heathen, the strangers. All right. And they make full use of us, man. You go into a lot of these restaurants, these Thai food restaurants, Chinese food restaurants. You go to the fish markets. A lot of them are owned by Moab. When you look back there in the kitchen, who's back there cooking? You mainly see Issachar or northern tribe back there cooking. When they build these gated communities and homes and townhomes and condos, they go up super, super quick. And you can always bet, man, I guarantee you that's Issachar that's building. You know, and I see that for myself here on the West Coast. Issachar, they get there and they get straight to work, man. They don't play no games. And then during their lunch, they'll eat and take a nap. Like it says in was that Genesis 49, and they saw that the rest was good. They known for doing that. And then they get right back to work. So Esau, he made you tribes of full use. He put you to use for real. And then he have the nerve to look down on you and call you an alien. It says in the similar words, it says utilize, make use of, put to use to good advantage, make the most of, capitalize on, benefit from, turn to account, draw on, profit from, buy, make capital out of, cash in on, milk. And that's simply the purpose of you tribes towards this devil E. But you know, you worship him because he got you with that treasury image. All right. But the Lord's is the time is getting ready to come where the Lord's about to break that yoke. We will no longer be serving this devil, man. All right, keeping his industries flourishing. You know, Jake busting their ass, working all these hours and basically not getting, you know, their worth. It's like this. It tells us in Baruch, was that the third chapter? We are yet this day in our captivity, and we're subject to payments. So, in order for us to keep up with all these payments, all these bills and utility and rent and all that, you got to continue to work. You got to continue to serve this devil. All right. It says, use a situation or person in an unfair or selfish way. You know, they'll use you for cheap labor, and then they'll sell their merchandise or sell their service, you know, for a higher price. You know, so they'll manufacture everything using you to manufacture it, like the prison system, for example. They manufacture a lot of stuff for these big corporations and using prison labor, and they don't really get paid shit for it. And then the corporations capitalize. And we know why that 13th Amendment was placed in the Constitution. It was towards you tribes, which is mainly Judah and you know, Issachar, Ephraim. You know, they fill the prison population. It says here, it says benefit unfairly from the work of someone, typically by overworking or underpaying them. And this happens every day. And Esau don't give a shit, man. So let's go to Jeremiah 30:8 real quick. Jeremiah 30:8, and it says, for it shall come to pass in that day, and this is after you read the 7th verse dealing with Jacob's trouble, which we getting ready to go into that time. This is when everything is going to change, when the Lord bring this trouble, this tribulation, right? You know, you think Jake is going to continue to be working when all hell is breaking loose? Everything is going to fall apart here. All right. But this is when the Lord's going to, you know, finally break that yoke. All right. It says, verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. Because that shows what? That all these nations, they all benefited from Jake's labor, you know, in making full use of Jake and their talent, all right, their strength. And Jake don't ever get no credit. They say we complain and, you know, pull yourself up by the bootstrap. So the Lord's going to get ready to do that. All right. Let's go to matter of fact, let me do this. I'm going to go to this translation right here. The was it the DBY translation? Yes, verse 8, it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh of hosts, I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and I will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more reduce him to servitude." And yeah, that's pretty much when the Lord starts to bring judgment, all right, in all the calamity, all this is going to stop. It's going to be the beginning of the end for Esau and his kingdom that's crumbling. You know, who you going to have to use for your servitude? You know, Jacob's going to start rebelling, you know, putting their foot down, because they already complaining. A lot of them are complaining about the workforce now. They like, man, we're tired of running this same rat race. What the hell is this 9 to 5 shit all about? Generation Z, they're about ready to just, you know, just shut down on this place, you know? But just imagine when the Lord finally shuts everything down, when he brings the complete destruction of this society, you know? It tells you that in Isaiah 19, there will be no more work for Egypt. And this is why Esau thinks that he's going to be able to just, well, we're going to rule over you, you know, setting up our MOTB system. You're going to have UBI. You ain't going to have to work. You will not own nothing, and you'll be happy just living off of the UBI that we're going to be generating to you every month. But we get to limit the amount that you get to receive and how much you're willing to spend and what you can spend it on and shit like that. And we're just going to let the robots, you know, handle everything else. It's not going to work out well. The Lord's going to disappoint the hands of the crafty that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. It's going to be a lot of pushback. So after the Lord take that yoke from off of our neck, free us from this condition, this captivity, it says, "But they shall serve Yahweh their God and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them." And we remember going back to the time when David sat on the throne, the roles were reversed. The strangers, the actual heathen, they were reduced to servitude. They became servants of tribute to King David and the kingdom of Israel. So that's going to happen again. When the Lord frees us and return back to our land, you nations, you're going to be reduced to servitude. I think there's a scripture in Amos that says that the plower shall overtake the reapers. You know, roughly paraphrasing. Let me see if I can find that. I think it's Amos 9 and 13. Yeah, Amos 9 and 13. So after the Lord sift the house of Israel among all nations, as corn is sifted in the sieve, that the least grain shall not fall upon it. He's going to destroy all the sinners of his people, but he's not going to destroy that cluster. And then you're going to have the tabernacle of David. They're going to inherit these other nations. Esau is going to be possession as well, and his land is going to be a possession. So here it says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman, all right, basically the worker, and, you know, that represents basically all of us. We're all a part of this devil's labor force. You know, he's making crazy loot off of our labors, and, you know, we're just getting by on paycheck to paycheck, and then getting our taxes taken out on top of that. That's a form of a tribute, because we're slaves to these devils. So yes, we are yet this day in our captivity, but the Lord's going to overturn that. It says that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine. Therefore, they also shall make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And guess what? It ain't going to be with our own hands that we're going to do it. Just like Esau didn't use their own hands. They used us to build Babylon, America. All right. This empire wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for Jake. Okay. And that brings me to Isaiah 14. And it says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and I will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And a stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them. That's talking about the heathen. And the land of the Lord for its servants and handmaids. Right? And they shall take them captives whose captives they were. And they shall rule over their oppressors. So we're going to rule over them. We're going to put them on continual employment. We're going to overwork their ass. We're going to exploit them and have our kingdom get built up. I know Vocab don't like the sound. He doesn't like this, even though I'm reading it verbatim in the scripture. But it's going to happen. Because the information is undeniable. What the purpose that we serve here in captivity. This devil, he won big off of the servitude of Jake. You know? And, you know, you got the migrants and the northern tribes that can't even speak a lick of English, but they come over here and they getting right to work. Esau put them right to work and give them a few pennies. So it's clear why, you know, they're going to try to, you know, get rid of a lot of them now, because we coming into that age where AI is going to start, you know, doing the heavy lifting now. So we don't need all that additional laborers. It'll be cheaper getting to get rid of them. It says, and it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. So yeah, that's when the kingdom comes, that's when we're going to finally rest. You know, all the tribes from Judah all the way down to Issachar, we finally going to rest. And Babylon's going to be out of here. It's going to be destroyed. Okay. So, you know, I thought this was interesting. I was like, this is video worthy. I can do a lesson on this. Relying on illegal immigration, the top U.S. industries. Okay. And then not to mention, you know, the citizens that are already over here that are of the tribes. All right, some of the northern tribes that were already over here that were born Americans, what they put into the labor force. You know? So, yeah, man. If you were to take them, factor them out, a lot of this would start collapsing. So that's why they've been generating a lot of robots and you know, more AI to help them. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna end the lesson right there. Hopefully y'all were edified. I'm gonna give all praise to y'all, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and you know, check that movie out if you haven't seen it, A Day Without a Mexican. Okay. So with that, call Lord Yahweh Shem Shai Shalom.